Hey, what's up guys, Sir Emanon here, and welcome to another video. So this one's going to be another match of me playing Lunalight Tri-Brigade post the February 2022 TCG ban list. And this time our opponent is going to be Take, who is on 60 card, 3-axis, adventure, Halqifibrax with the DPE stuff in it. So I don't really know what I'm going to call this in the video title. Probably just going to be like 3-axis adventure or something like that. But really cool deck for sure. Also another match that we did play live on stream over at twitch.tv/SirEmanon. So if you do want to go ahead and check us out and give us a follow, we'd love to have you over there. The link's going to be in the description box down below. Also, I put up a couple of polls on the community tab in the YouTube page. So definitely go ahead and check those out if you want to give me some feedback and have some input on the channel. I would very much be appreciative of it, and I will take your suggestions and just your votes into account. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started here without any further ado. So we do win the RPS here. We're going to choose to go first. And we're going to go ahead and start things off with a copy of Collider Foolish Burial Goods, Karis, Zephyrs, and Driver. The Psychic Soldier that rides into battle against the security forces on Currents of Lightning using an autonomic amplifier called Psyframe. So yeah, this is like the third time I've tried to record this video, by the way, and I apologize. The video, like the game is just laggy. Like the replay is just really laggy today. I tried like everything, and none of it seems to work. I think it's just this replay itself that's just laggy for some reason. So apologize for that. Please do bear with me. But yeah, our hand's really good besides the Driver, of course. And then his hand going second is going to be Crusader, Arborea, Sangan, E-Tele, Tracker, Wielder. So his hand is just 5 level 3 extenders. And that's basically it. Like if you guys aren't familiar, which you probably are if you are with the PK deck, but basically Carabini sends the Water Enchantress, which gets you into your adventure stuff. And then with any tuner extender, you can go to Halqifibrax once you're insulated from hand traps after you summon the Griffin Rider, which is pretty good. And yeah, that's kind of the basic premise of this deck. It's just a Halqifibrax deck with all the Brave shenanigans or adventure shenanigans. But yeah, neither of us open hand traps, so thankfully we're going first. We're gonna start things off by normal summoning out Collider, and then we're going to go and send Yellow Martin, and then we're going to go ahead and scale or activate the Foolish Burial Goods to go and send Perfume, and then we're going to Perfume to pitch the Driver to go and grab our Tiger. Now here I could have actually sent Zephyrs, but I chose to keep the Tri-Beast in hand for Karis in case we get hand trapped. And so we're just going to go and continue with our plays here. We're going to go and scale the Lunalight Tiger. We're going to bring back the Yellow Martin. And here I overlay into Force Strix. Right now I'm just pretty much trying to see if I get hand trapped. Because I have the extender, because at times, like, it's really effective to hand trap the Force Strix because, like, if they don't have extenders, they're actually kind of stuck. Whereas if, like, you save it for Y-Strix, they do play Y-Strix in this build, just to force out hand traps, essentially. But if you do it there, in the Tri build, you can just follow up with, like, Martin to bounce Tiger, rescale, bring back level 4 Lunalight, overlay into Tiger King, set Tenki, search Fractal, and then you can use the Tiger King and the Y-Strix to go into Farid. I mentioned this yesterday, but thought I'd bring it up again. But yeah, that lets you go into Tri plays after you get hand trapped in Y-Strix. But if you get hand trapped in Force Strix, it's a lot harder, so that's definitely something to think about. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and Karis to pitch the Zephyros, which is a weird order. I, again, kind of did this similarly yesterday where I did this too early and I ended up playing into Nibiru harder than I needed to. So should have just held this for follow-up. Here we're going to go ahead and activate the Yellow Martin effect to bounce Tiger to summon out the Martin. And then I realized that I need to go for Tiger King before I I want to go for Tiger King before I go into Farid just because I don't play the F-Zero package, so would rather use the Exceeds monsters to go into the Farid than this plus just another body. So I go ahead and I use Vader's Wing to go and detach the Collider. Yeah, I messed up because I didn't need to use Karis yet. There's no point. But here we're gonna rescale Tiger, use the effect to bring back the Collider, and then we're gonna Collider effect to send a copy of the Emerald Bird. And then we're going to overlay into a copy of the Tiger King here. And then Tiger King effect is going to activate to set a copy of Tenki from the deck. And then we're going to Tenki to search Fractal. And then after that, we're going to link into a copy of the Farid. And then we are going to activate the Fractal effect to go send Kit, send Nerval to add Fractal. But it's at this point where we realize we're kind of facing a problem. Because if I use the Farid to summon out Fractal, then I won't have any cards in my hand to resolve the Bear Bloom. Because I'll search Revel, but I'll have to put it back. And so what happens is I'm thinking, okay, maybe just keep Fractal in hand and then use this to summon out Bear Bloom and put back the Fractal instead. But I'm like, man, this is so good to summon out if I could, because this lets me get another activation, so I can end on DDL2 and gives me level 4 body to go into another rank 4 play, because I have Zephyrs Engrave that I haven't used still. So I'm like, how can I end on the board that I want to, which is 3-mat Appaloosa, DDL double rank 4, and Revolt? The answer actually lies in what I do right here. So we're going to go ahead and activate Karis, banishing 2 to summon out the Bear Bloom. Then we're going to go ahead and activate the Zephyrs Engrave, summoning itself by bouncing the Tiger. And then we're going to rescale the Tiger, and we're going to bring back a copy of Yellow Martin. And then the answer to my dilemma is just to go into the Redoer, because this detaching Yellow Martin for effect lets me go ahead and add a copy of the Serenade Dance to my hand, because again, this is not detached for cost. So this lets me add Serenade Dance to my hand. Very, very good. And then we can go ahead and Berry Bloom to summon out, or Blossom, sorry, to summon out the Fractal. And then we can go ahead and use the Fractal effect to summon out the DDL, and then we can overlay into Abyss Dweller and then make the Appaloosa after that. So that is a pretty solid way to go ahead and end on pretty much everything that I wanted to. We can Berry Bloom to search for Revel and put back the Serenade Dance, and then set the Revel and then pass with the Redoer coming back. So overall, pretty solid board. Not like the greatest. Well, it was a good hand, but like using Foolish Goods is kind of awkward because you kind of put yourself down a card in doing so, unless like you start off with like Nerval or something. That's kind of one of the reasons why I was testing Small World in the deck. But then I realized that like Small World costs another card, to where like if you have Small World Foolish Goods to try and access Chick Tiger, then it gets really awkward because like you're putting yourself down pretty much to like 3 cards. And so it becomes a little harder, especially through hand traps, to like resolve Berry Bloom sometimes. So that's why I think in other Lunalight builds, Small World is pretty good, but in this build, probably not. So he's gonna draw a copy of Carbonetum for turn. This is I don't know if I mentioned it, but this is like a free way that you can get tuner access off of the Carabini if you already start with the Brave stuff, because it summons a level 7 or Dragon normal monster from your deck, which lets you go and summon out Flame Guard. But yeah, standard phase, we're going to activate Redoer, and we pick up the Celestial, which is actually hilarious. And that was pretty great because now we cut off his backup plan, and that is pretty good. So now it's going to be a lot harder for him to actually just like turn all his monsters into DPE after I stop his plays. So here he's going to summon out Sangan, and right here I choose a Dweller. I could use Appaloosa. Again, like we talked about yesterday about how we can like reserve Dweller to play around Droplet better. But I decided to do it here just because like I don't know, I feel like it's a little bit weird because the number of monsters in my field. Like I would have to, like get rid of either the, I'd have to go like activate Appaloosa chailing 2 in response to Sangan, and then he goes like Droplet chailing 3, I go Revel chailing 4, and then I go like Redoer chailing 5 perhaps, which is like, not horrible, but then like waste the Revel. I don't know, I feel like Revel it's like a good enough interruption as is. So I decided to just do it like this. But yeah, I Dweller him, he doesn't have the Droplet anyway, so we're fine. He summons out Arborea because our Appaloosa is giving him a Zone, which is pretty funny. And then he's gonna link off into the Carabini. And then right here, he can't activate the Sangan, obviously, because of Dweller. And then here's going to activate the Carabini. I thought about bouncing this with DDL, but I'm like, well, there's not really a point. Because even if he can send Enchantress here, which he does, he can't actually activate it, so it doesn't matter. So I'm going to hold this for like a bigger threat. He's going to go ahead and activate E-Telly next. And then E-Telly is going to summon out Ghost Ogre, which is really good because it trades favorably into Appaloosa. Because if you guys aren't familiar, Appaloosa has to reduce attack to negate the monster effect. So like, say it goes for like another effect, I chain Appaloosa. If you chains the Ghost Ogre, not only does it get the Appaloosa off board, but it can't lose attack, so it can't negate the monster, so its initial effect goes through. And so that's why I have to be a bit careful with this being on board now. He's going to go and summon out Psychic Tracker, and then he's going to go and, I believe, go for a Unicorn play. So he's going to link summon into the Nightmare Unicorn. I keep wanting to say overlay for some reason. He's going to pitch Carbonetum and then going to chain Redoer, and I realized I messed up. I was supposed to chain Revel and then chain Redoer because he targets my Revel here off of the Unicorn. And then to mitigate that, I'm going to chain the DDO because here I'm like, oh yeah, right, this thing doesn't banish itself like for cost or anything. So like in order for me to be able to chain Revel and still get the Omen online, I have to vacate one of my monster zones because I right now don't have enough because this wasn't properly summoned. Only the Farid was. So here I'm going to go ahead and activate the Revel as chailing 4. And yeah, it should have just been Unicorn chailing 1, target Revel, Revel chailing 2, and then DDL chailing 3. I didn't have to like tag out Redo right here, but I mean, I guess it doesn't really hurt too much to do so. So we're going to resolve our Revel here, and then we're going to go and bring out the Omen. And then everything else resolves, so we're going to bounce the Unicorn, Redo gets banished. And then here we're going to activate Nerval chailing 1, Omen chailing 2, which is a big, big mistake. It should be Omen chailing 1. Thankfully, he doesn't chain the Ogre, but I think he should have. Because if he does that, then like I have to Appaloosa, and then like Omen is forced to banish one of my own cards. Now, to be fair, I have Tenki, so it doesn't really matter that much. But in a world where I don't have Tenki here, that could be the difference maker. So yeah, in order to prevent me from having to like negate a Ghost Ogre, like I should just go like Omen 1, Nerval 2, and then just banish the Ogre there. So yeah, that was a huge mistake. I'm so used to like chain blocking Ash, but right there was an ogre, and I should have adapted. So that is a mistake to learn from. But yeah, he reveals the last card in his hand is Psychic Wielder. So yeah, we just go ahead and scoop there. Or he goes ahead and scoops there, rather. So we take game 1. And then game 2 is going to go first. His hand is Arborea, Tracker, Wielder, Fateful Adventure, Carbonetin. So similar hand to game 1, actually. Yeah, you'll see kind of like what the advantage of like, playing all the level 3 extenders is in this deck. And then our hand going second is going to be Serenade, Perfume, Karis, Kaleidocheck, and Gamma. So we have the Gamma, but I talked about this on stream. Against the Adventure package, I think hand traps are kind of just not very good because the Adventure package is always going to trade with one hand trap. And like whether it's like you use, I don't know, Nibiru and like the negate with Griffin Rider, or like you Gamma them on like Enchantress, or like your Ashman Enchantress, like your Ogre the Adventure, or the Faithful Adventure. It doesn't matter because like the Adventure package did its job at that point, right? The entire purpose is to like use it as a way to like play around hand traps. And like in some other decks, it has more synergies, like the Rose Dragon deck that I showed off yesterday with the 10s and stuff, with Griffin Rider being a 7. But in this deck, like the entire premise is to just make sure that your Halqifibrax resolves. And like you have to open 2 hand traps then to be able to take care of the fate or the adventure package with 1 hand trap, and then like stop the other play with another. And like that's just hard to do in a deck that's only playing like 9-10 hand traps. You have to play like 12-13 at minimum, and this deck does not have the room for that, I feel. Like I think other decks maybe can get away with playing hand traps if you like try to open combinations of them, but it's like really hard in this deck. And I think in general, like it's really difficult to just have enough hand traps most of the time, because like oftentimes, like even if you like use you throw a hand trap at the adventure package, and then you throw a hand trap at their main engine, whether it's like Halqifibrax here, or, like Phantom Knights, or, like Prank Kids or whatever, but like they can also often just still play anyways past that hand trap. So like you're gonna need maybe like 3 hand traps, and that's just like not realistic at that point. So it might just be better to play board breakers or go second cards instead, which is what I'm transitioning towards in my build. But yeah, anyways, after that long-winded tangent, he's going to go ahead and normal summon out Carbonetin, and then special summon out Tracker, and then go in for Carabini, and then go Carabini effect to send Enchantress. And then here I Gamma the Enchantress. Maybe I should have Gammaed the Carabini. I thought about holding it for my turn, but all my plays really start with normal summon Kaleidocheck, or like special summon out Karis, and then my Gamma doesn't really have much to do. Unless if like he puts up a negate and like he negates my Karis special from hand, which I don't think he would ever really do. So yeah, I don't think there's like a chance for me to Gamma my turn with this hand, so I decided to Gamma here on the Enchantress. Again, maybe it was worth it to like just make sure that this body wasn't on the board, but then he gets access to like his, adventure stuff, which doesn't really make much sense. So yeah, I figured I would just do it here, even though I know that there's Carbonetin engraved, so he has tuner access regardless. Even still, he has Arborea. But yeah, just not a good position for me at all. He's going to go for Halqifibrax, use the effect to summon out Despot 1. He's going to special summon out both of his extenders. I'm like, why would you do this? And they realize he's going to go for Verte Anaconda because of the fact that if he goes into his Rorodon, he can't link summon afterwards. So he has to do this now. And this, this would get punished really hard by Nibiru if I had it, but I don't. So he's going to go for a Rorodon, summon out the tokens. Like right here, Nibiru would be like pretty much the end of the turn. I'm also surprised he didn't activate the Faithful Adventure to just grab the equip spell, the Draco back at any point, but yeah, I mean, still, like, if I had Nibiru, it would have been, like, really devastating. He goes to Cupid Pitch here, gonna use the effect to increase the level, and then he's gonna Synchro Summon off with that and a token into a copy of Savage Dragon. He's gonna go Pitch Chainlink 1, because it's mandatory, or Savage Chainlink 2. I forgot to take the burn damage here, but it's not gonna be relevant. But yeah, just something to know, this does do burn damage. Gonna go ahead and add a Creation Resonator off of that, and then he's going to use the Aurorodon to tribute itself and the token to summon out the Colt Wing, which seems strange because like this can't resolve now, and also you wouldn't have spaces to resolve Despot 1 anyways. It can't resolve because there's no other MPB monster. But he just needs a level 4 non-tuner to go ahead and go for a Shooting Riser Dragon play, which he goes for right here. And yeah, this is like pretty good because he said right here, usually he will just synchro with the Brave token, which is also level 4 non-tuner, and do it this way, but he had to pivot. So he's going to go and send a copy of Fairy Tail Snow, which is already really good. But this thing also has an effect to quick synchro on my turn. And this puts Snow back in grave. So if he goes for any level 7 synchro, he can potentially have a disruption and put Snow back into the graveyard for another Book of Moons. So that's really good. So he's going to wrap things up with a DPE on top of all of this, obviously, which is very strong. So he has 1, 2, 3 interruptions, and then potentially 4 if like the Riser makes anything relevant, and then 5 when Snow hits the grave. So this is potentially 5 interruptions here. So yeah, really, really bad for me. We draw Emerald Bird, which is actually not too bad here because it loses less hard to a Fairy Tail Snow than Collider Check would. So like I realize that, or a reason that if I normal summon Collider Check, then he'll just book a Moon it, and I can't really do much because like my only play would be Karis to pitch Emerald Bird, and then like he lets that resolve because I have not enough Tri-Beasts in grave yet, and then I activate Perfume, and like he starts negating stuff, and then I lose. But here at least I get a chance for me to draw into more stuff to help me play a bit here. So I draw Nibiru, which is a bit late. We're gonna go ahead and activate the Perfume next to go ahead and bring back the Collider Chick. Here's where things are gonna start to get real laggy. I apologize. He's gonna Snow here on Resolution, so he's gonna go ahead and banish 7. He's gonna Snow to book my Collider Chick, which is I think pretty predictable because this cuts me off rank 4 axis, getting Martin in grave, stuff like that. And then here he's gonna quick synchro with the Riser Dragon to go into Psyframe Lord Zeta, which is similar to Omega, but it's for special summon attack position monsters instead of a card in your hand. So now I have to play around that too. So this is 5 interruptions, and he's only used 1 of them, and like that's really bad for me, obviously. Here we're gonna Perfume to pitch the Serenade Dance, and honestly, if he uses Savage to negate this, I lose the game because my only other play afterwards is to go Serenade Dance to send a Beer, summon a monster, and then he just books it with Snow or like DPs it, and I can't do anything. So yeah, that would have been like an instant loss for me, but thankfully he actually didn't negate the Perfume. So let's make access to Tiger. I think he's trying to like negate the Tiger instead. But right now I can kind of just try and finagle some more plays here. So we're going to go ahead and Serenade Dance. I forgot to pitch Nibiru, which is important, but it's not going to matter for the course of this game, thankfully. But don't forget to do that because it came up in like kind of one of my thought processes later on, which I'll kind of discuss. Here he tries to Zeta and then realizes that it only works on attack position monsters that I special summon. So this was normal summon, so it doesn't work here. And this was obviously not an attack position. So we can't actually do that, and I can kind of play around that a little bit because now I can start going for Xyz plays, which won't lose as hard to this, and I can try and out it later. I'm surprised he didn't actually just Snow me again here on this Collider Chick because he did it the first time. And here's another point where like if he books here, he just wins because like all I can do now is like Karis to pitch Tiger, and then like he DP pops it and I lose. So yeah, I don't know. I got away with a lot more than I probably should have here. We're gonna send Martin off of that, and then here we go into Tiger King, which is really good because no matter what, this is gonna trade for 2 interruptions, or something's gonna resolve, right? Assuming like just assuming that he doesn't do anything to my plays, I'm gonna get a lot out of it. So this has an effect not only to set Tenki, but has another effect where it can detach a material to negate all face-up effect monsters on the field that aren't Beast Warrior. So that would negate the entire field. So he's going to have to do something here. If he negates the on-summon effect with Savage, he's going to have to pop with DPE or book it on res to stop it. Or like if he lets us resolve, then he's going to have to like DPE pop this or Snow it anyways. And then like I'll have Tenki, which either he'll negate with Savage or I just get another body to work with Karis. So this will deal with 2 interruptions at minimum by itself, which is really good. So the effect to set Tenki resolves, but obviously he's not going to, there's no way he's going to let me negate the entire board. So he's going to DPE pop the Tiger King as soon as he can, which is on Resolution, and he's going to activate the DPE Grave effect. Here he goes ahead and lets this Tenki resolve, which I'm fine with. We're going to get Fractal here, and then I'm going to activate Fractal just to get more bodies in the grave, and then like bluffing the fact that I don't have like Karis in hand yet, which I actually do. So he Savage negates this, and all of a sudden now I have to deal with just like a Book of Moon, plus the Zeta, which like the Zeta is fairly easy to play around with the Xyz monsters. So if I can play past the book, we should be good to go. The question is how reliably can we do that? So we're going to go ahead and activate the effect of Tiger. Then we're going to go bring back the Emerald Bird. We're going to activate the Yellow Martin to bring itself back by bouncing the Tiger. And then we are going to go ahead and think here. So he's going to actually Snow right now. And then Snow Effect's going to book one of these. I think he was just afraid of something that can just like threaten the board randomly, which is fair. But my options are here like Force Strix, Tornado Dragon, Redoer, and Abyss Dweller, which were not very good. Because like this isn't like Dweller doesn't do anything to Snow because he just chains it and it's not a Tri-Beast. I can't do anything with it. So yeah, it wouldn't have been like the greatest. But here he actually Book of Moons my Yellow Martin. And now I'm like pretty chilling because yeah, basically what ends up happening is I get to go ahead and actually bring back another level 4. And we can go ahead and send another copy of Martin. Doesn't matter too much here. But what really matters is I get to go for 4 Strix. And that gives me a body in hand to pitch for Karis. And now we are well, we're in the driver's seat almost, right? Because like Savage is used, DP is used. We can play around the Zeta, and he's out of snows. So we are pretty good here. Now we can carry us to pitch the Zephyros. Again, I got away with much more than I should have. Like, again, realistically, if you just negated stuff earlier, I couldn't have gotten to any of this. But it's cool to see the deck kind of play through interruptions like that. We're going to go ahead and activate the effect of the Karis here. And then I thought about banishing 4 for Omen. But the problem is if I do that, then like he uses Zeta like in response, and then both of them get banished, and then like I get to hit something off the board, but like I won't get the Omen search, and then I can't really do like too much afterwards. So what ends up happening here is I actually use the DDL to my advantage, because if he does this on summon, I can chain it, and then I can bounce a Savage, because this has to banish both the monster that it targets and itself. So if the target's off the board, then it just like stays there, similar to kind of like Omega in that kind of way. But DDL here, if he doesn't activate it, like when it hits the board, which I don't see why he would, I just activate it, tribute itself for cost, or set itself away for cost, and then I just bounce the Zeta anyways. So either way, this is going to take care of the Zeta. And so now we got rid of that. We're going to go ahead and Zephyros here because we have not done that yet. And here we go. We're going to go to Wise Tricks. Again, this is here mostly just as an extension tool that forces hand traps, not as a way to like search the rank up, because I'm not even playing a rank up. It's just a way to be able to get these more reliably, right? You can also use Omen to make this, which is something important to note, because it is a Darkwing Beast. We're going to go ahead and summon out the Radius Wing, and then here's where I realize, oh, this can't be used as link material, which kind of sucks, because what I wanted to do was like go Omen and then go into Farid afterwards, which would have been pretty nice, because then I could go for more tri-plays afterwards. But to be fair, this Nibiru shouldn't be in my hand, so like I wouldn't be able to go, or I would not be able to go like Revolt off Bear Bloom, because again, like I should not have this. So yeah, that's kind of something else to think about. We're going to go for a copy of Tiger to bring back the Emerald Bird here. And then to make it so that this is like not a hindrance to my board, we're going to make Redoer. And then we're going to Redo effect, detaching the Emerald Bird for effect, which triggers the bird, bringing back the copy of Martin. And now we can make all of these into a Shurag. Here I Shurag to go and banish the snow. I don't want to deal with it anymore this game. And his Savage is on 3k because he got rid of his Halqifibrax off the snow that was equipped to it. So now we can just go ahead and crash these two. And we can get the Omen Search as well. Now if I had DD Crow, this would be pretty nice because I could DD Crow the DPE. And then actually just out the entire board there. Granted, like he has Fateful Adventure and Celestial draws, but like I wouldn't be like too upset in this position, honestly. But yeah, we don't play DD Crow in the main deck, unfortunately. Maybe we should. Here he draws Anti-Spell, which is going to prove to be really good because Fateful Adventure gets access to Draco back, obviously, and Draco back can bounce my Tiger, and then he can flip Anti-Spell, and I can't scale Tiger anymore, which is pretty insane. So yeah, Redo came back in the end phase there, but we're just doing it now. DP comes back in standby, and here we're going to go ahead and resolve the Redoer to take a copy of Imperm, which is great. Because now it kind of contests the DPE because he can't use DPE proactively because I just chain this and then outs the DPE. But kind of consequently, I also can't use this proactively either because if I use this, then he just chains the DPE and I can't do anything because it has to detach for effect. So if he chains this and pops and I redo it, it doesn't actually like get to spin anything, which is really important. So he's going to go ahead and set the both of his cards here. And then he's going to go and use the Celestial. This is getting real laggy. It's getting real bad here. I apologize, but nothing I can do about it. It happened that when I got to this point in the replay last time and I like restarted and I got rid of like 27 minutes worth of footage for nothing. And so yeah, I apologize. Just going to have to, you're going to have to deal with the lag here. I apologize. It's really, really tough to watch, I know. But here when he summons Sangan, by the way, he draws Lantia too, which is pretty absurd. Like that's like one of my only ways to deal with the anti-spell. It's going to be flipped up. I'm going to go ahead and use Redoer, to which he chains DPE, and now I can't spin anything because I can't detach a trap once it's popped. And so Sangan now gets to live, and also he triggers the DPE. Here he goes for a copy of the Almirage. Thankfully, he doesn't play another copy of Arborea into like Halqifibrax #2, which would have been like pretty insane. It said he's going to search for Hopbeard Squadron, and then he is going to go for a Fateful Adventure, and then search for an Aquamancer and pitch it. And then here he's going to go and banish the Aquamancer or Enchantress. I keep calling it Aquamancer. But yeah, going to go for Rite of the Armiseer. And he's going to activate Rite to summon a token. And he's going to put it in attack position, which triggers the Fateful Adventure to go search for Draco back. And he's going to manually equip it to the token. And he's going to Draco back effect to bounce my Tiger, which again turns on the anti-spell effectively. And then he's going to clear my Collider Chick and then pass. And here I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. Like, we just have to deal with the DPE and we're chilling. But we draw a spell, which loses to anti-spell. And then we have to do a DPE as well. And Lancia. So now, just off the back of the top deck and the Celestial, we now are probably going to lose the game. Also, didn't ever play into Nibiru, even though, again, it should not be in my hand. It should be engraved thanks to the Serenade. But he only went like DPE 1, Sangan 2, Amarage 3, Token 4. That was it. So yeah, nothing I could do there. And so yeah, we are in a losing position now because of the Lancia here. And now we are going to go ahead and try normal summon Nerval, and then he's going to Lancia me. And I'm like, oh my god, I actually lose now. So yeah, we're going to try our best. We're going to flip up Martin, and then we're going to go ahead and go into a copy of Farid. I probably should have searched. I think this is the build I was testing out 2 Karis. Or I started to test out 2 Karis. I probably should have searched Karis off of the Shuraig instead. But I didn't do that because I wanted to get more value, which is understandable. But here I could search for Nerval. Nerval to search Fractal also probably wasn't the move. But then again, I'm under Lancia, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't actually do anything. So he's just going to pop my Farid. I can't summon this out. Even if I could, like, I wasn't doing much anyways with that. Which is very unfortunate. So here, we're going to activate the Farid just to try and draw something. Like, try and draw our way out of it. He's going to DPE as well. We draw another spell, which is just not live right now. And I can't do anything, so we pass. And now, from here on out, it's just going to be DPE control with my inability to scale Tiger because of anti-spell. So yeah, right now, it's just DPE control. We're going to go ahead and activate the Fateful Adventure. He's going to grab Griffin Rider, and he's going to pitch the Fossil Dig, so he's on like Gillosaurus too. He's going to special that out, and then just go ahead and attack for a lot of damage here. And now we are going to try and have to live here through now a negate plus DPE plus anti-spell, and it doesn't seem likely. I didn't set anything last turn just because like he could DPE pop and then like Draco back, bounce another one, which is like really cool with anti-spell. Like he can like keep just keeping me off spells, right? Even if I had like Foolish Goods and Foolish Burial set, like he just pops one and then it like bounces the other, so I'm just not resolving them, so I kept them in my hand just in case. We draw Lancia, which, you know, is not going to do anything here. And that is the end of the game. So that was a pretty crazy match. Again, I probably shouldn't have been in that one to begin with. But it made it for a more entertaining replay. So we're going to go into game 3 here. Our hand going first is going to be Perfume, Lancia, Purple Butterfly, Tenki, Artifact, Scythe. Again, I'm testing the Scythe stuff in here. I ended up cutting it. I don't really like it. But I was testing it. And then his hand is going to be Imperm, Nib, Droll, Ghost Ogre, and then Enchantress. 4 hand traps. We're going to go ahead and start up by activating Tenki for Collider Chick. And, you know, opening Tenki sucks for Droll. It also sucks for the fact that you can't Tiger King anymore. So, like, opening this card actually kind of sucks. So, yeah, we are now in a pretty rough spot. Because if we started off just Collider Chick with Perfume, we'd be in a good spot. Because, like, then we could go ahead and, like, you know, go Perfume to search for Tiger if we want to play around the Droll. But yeah, we're not in a good spot here. We're gonna go ahead and Perfume to go and bring back the Martin, and then we're gonna go for Tornado Dragon because we have Scythe already, and we're gonna pass. And here I make a critical mistake. I'm thinking, okay, a lot of his deck is just like level 3 extension, right? So I'm like, okay, the way he's gonna send Aquamancer to the grave is via Carabini, so I just hold the Lancia for that. What I didn't think about is that he just hard draws the Enchantress. I keep calling it Aquamancer for some reason. I'm sorry. It's just the fan translated name, but he just hard open the Enchantress, and then I lose. I should just shotgun the Lancia, basically. I did not do that because I was waiting for it to hit the grave off Carabini, and I got punished, rightfully so. If I landed here, he was passing, because on the normal summon of Sangan, I just Tornado Dragon to pop my Scythe, and then he can't do anything. To be fair, he has 3 hand traps still, but I could maybe play out of it, honestly. So he's going to go right to go grab the Fateful Adventure, summon the token, go ahead and grab the Draco back, summon Sangan, and then here I go ahead and use the Tornado Dragon. I'm like, alright, let's just get this out of the way now. And then we're going to go ahead and trigger the Scythe here, and then he's going to go and Fateful Adventure, and then grab a copy of the Griffin Rider, and now like we have to deal with the negate, which is like really rough, and also gets to out one of my cards with the Draco back. Like, just me not shotgunning Lancia was really bad, but that's my unfamiliarity with the adventure stuff. Really, like, this is one of my first games playing against the engine. So now I'm like a lot more acquainted with it, and I really should just shotgun this card because they could just hard draw the Enchantress, which is a 3 of. I don't know why I didn't think about that. So yeah. Basically, if I didn't have to deal with like this bounce and like the Griffin Rider and just the 3 hand traps, like only the 3 hand traps, like I can maybe have a chance at playing through those. But yeah, right now, not a chance. So he's gonna put this in defense, and I have like no way to like really contest it. So draw Kit for turn. I mean, we do have Perfume Engraved, which isn't too bad. So we're gonna go ahead and activate the effect of the Perfume. He lets us go because I think he just wants to negate my Tiger, which is fair enough. And then we're gonna Kit effect to send Nerval, and then Nerval effect to go ahead and search for a copy of the Fractal. And then here we're gonna go ahead and normal summon out Fractal. We're gonna use the effect. We're gonna banish 3, and then he's gonna imperm this. And my plan was to, because like the Faithful Avenger, if you don't know, prevents your monsters that are equipped with the Equip Souls from being destroyed by battle once per turn. So my plan was to go battle phase, Scythe attack the token, which it would live there, but then crash with Fractal into the token because of the Tenki boost. But now Imperm is negating the Tenki boost, so I don't get the extra 100 attack points, and now I can't crash into the token. Now I can't force it this way. I literally didn't notice until the battle phase. And I'm like, oh my god, Tenki is negated. Yeah, I knew about the Faithful Avenger, but I forgot entirely that Imperm would just negate the Tenki. I was literally going to crash, then go main phase 2, scale Tiger, and then try and do plays from there. And you can also see I'm still playing Butterfly, by the way. Yeah, here's just a dead card. And I actually switched right now to Black Sheep over Purple Butterfly. And Black Sheep would have been very helpful here if I drew it. Because you'll see right now, obviously, he's going to go like, Sangan search Sangan. And then main phase 2, I'm going to like scale Tiger. And he's going to Griffin Rider to negate. But here if I have Black Sheep, I can just add it back. And then scale and play anyways. Obviously, he would still have hand traps, but like we'd be in a much better spot. But we lose because we can't do anything anymore. Yeah. That was all because I didn't shotgun Lancia. If I did shotgun Lancia, we're in a very different game. Because let's think about this, right? Like my turn structure ends up being pretty much the same, except I don't have to deal with a negate. And also, like I would have Tornado Dragon in the field still, because it wouldn't have been bounced with the Draco back. So what I do there is I like scale Tiger. I activate the effect to get Ghost Ogre. That's fine. Like, assuming Fractal still gets negated, of course. I go ahead and, like, I use Tiger to go and bring back, like, Clyde Trick or something. I can, like, bounce with Yellow Martin. And then, like, I could, like, send to the grave if I wanted to, like, the Tiger. Just, like, if I want to do it that way. There's a lot of ways I could do it. But then I could, like, make a Bit Dweller, attack over the Sangan. And then, like, now the, now this is, like, off. I could like do a lot of different plays here. Like he would have the Enchantress for next turn, which would be kind of rough. So like maybe like the game's just completely different though. Like I'm not saying I would have won necessarily, but I could have dealt with it a lot better. So yeah, this was like the big going misplay. But I think that overall, like I mean, lots of hand traps for sure. Like Droll like hurts this deck very much, and Lancia. I think Lancia will be popular too because like the Fam Knight deck, and also just like the Brave package or the Adventure package. Also like hurts Tennies to some degree. So yeah, like Lancia already hurts Lunalight because of the fact that again, if you draw Perfume or if you draw Goods, you already play into it. But then adding another engine that plays in the Lancia, which is like the one thing I really dislike about the Tri package, but I still think it's probably the best variant, or one of the best variants at least. So I can't complain too much. So yeah, we lose this one, but I think it was a pretty good showcase of both the deck's weaknesses and also like its strengths. Like game 2, even though like my opponent didn't like maybe use the interruptions the most optimally, it shows that like the deck still has the ability to have multiple ways of like pushing past certain disruptions, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. I know it's a long one, but this is a long match, so I want to kind of go over it quite a bit. But that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. And until next time, I'll catch you in the next video. See you guys.